right, how do you feel about Swedish prog metal? Oh, you like it? Oh, good. Well, Opeth is coming back to Cleveland. They've got a new album they're going to drop, and they want to perform some new stuff for you. Saturday, October the 12th, they will be here the day after the album drops, in fact, at the world-famous Agora. AgoraCleveland.com always has the info on whatever is coming through there. You'll get my last pair of tickets this week to see Opeth. Good luck. Call 10-216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
The Alan Cox Show.
Podcast anytime on our iHeartRadio app.
Ooh, what's a podcast?
Like a TV show, but without the pictures.
Baby, that's called radio. What you're describing is radio.
And live on the radio weekday afternoons.
On 100.7 WMMS.
You know, tomorrow night, we will return with our metal show. It's called 2 Hours to Midnight, airing immediately after the Guardians game. They're in St. Louis for the weekend to play the Cardinals, first of which is tonight, 8:15, is your first pitch on the Buzzard. And then tomorrow night, 10 to midnight, nothing but 2 hours of metal with me and Corey Roddick and Pat Butler. It's called 2 Hours to Midnight. And if you like metal, you will love it. If you like yacht rock, you might not so much.
You can like both.
But I love yacht rock, too.
Yeah,
of course.
It's not true.
I like Lamb of God and Steely Dan.
Yes.
Robert Kelly is here.
Christopher Cross.
And we couldn't be more pleased. Christopher Cross. He had the curse of the Best New Artist Grammy.
What is that?
If you see the list of people who, it's like the curse of the Sports Illustrated, not Sports Illustrated, the Madden cover.
Yeah.
Back in the day, they said whoever won the Grammy for Best New Artist, they peaked there. Like you never heard him again. Christopher Cross won it, I think, in 1979.
P. Diddy.
R.
Kelly.
I love the P. Diddy memes where people are slipping on the floor and they're like party at P. Diddy's house. And boy, that's wild stuff.
Well, somebody, I forget which comic came out with it today. It's like, when did being a piece of crap become a bad thing? You know what I mean? Look, I understand.
When people were, if you read any of that indictment for Sean Combs, it was like, oh, he had like women that were getting trucked in. That's where it gets freaky. Not just like Led Zeppelin mud shark type stuff, with teenage runaways, but they're laser focused on the girls that are because they come back 15 years later. That's where people have an issue with this.
And they're 16 years old.
Yeah.
No, well. I know. I mean, listen, hitting the woman, go away.
That's all gross, yeah.
Satisfying.
Put what?
Nothing.
Wow. You'll see me after the show.
What? I didn't say wanting. That's, he definitely, but the parties, the baby oil.
Yeah.
All that stuff. It's like
it's a victimless crime until there's victims.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I mean, shouldn't all rock stars have some stuff in the closet though?
Yeah, but it all comes back to bite them in the ass, and this is the issue that people have. And I cannot. And it's like I take umbrage with people who try to put what happened then into the prism of today. However,
another good word, umbrage. Wow, you're a linguist.
I work it out. Is Steven Tyler puts out a book, and they're like, oh my God, he was partying with 14-year-old girls. These are not new stories, all right? It was 1978, whatever it was. These are not new stories.
Yeah.
The Diddy thing, a lot of people are like, these are not new stories. The problem people have is when these girls come back 15 years later,
right,
and they're trying to make a case for they were trafficked or whatever, except these girls at the time were very clearly escorts or they were working in the business or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's when the girls start going, and then I passed out and I woke up. And it was, it's all very murky. It's all very gross. It's all, but again, you've been in show business for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that we've ever heard about your lubrication purchases. So that's just hanging out there.
Wow.
All your baby oil wants and needs just hanging out there, ready to somehow come back.
I'm just saying, hang on now. Jesus is our Lord and Savior.
Indeed. And he will return.
Well, it's like we heard about these parties, all the Diddy white parties. All these people were there. Every famous person, you got to go to one of Diddy's parties. They were all there. Everybody saw this stuff. they knew what was going on. And
It's like all the famous people have pictures of Jeffrey Epstein. You know, it's like rich people hang out together. Yes, a lot of them wanted to bang 14-year-old girls on his weirdo island.
Yeah.
But rich people all hang out together, and this guy had money. So, yeah, Bill Gates is going to be there. And, you know, Trump and Clinton, they wanted to be on the island. But there's a lot of people that had pictures. Same thing with Diddy. If you're going to have these parties where you pride yourself on everyone being there,
right.
there's going to be a lot of people when the main dude goes down. There's a lot of people going, oh my God, calling their PR team.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's probably pictures of me with this guy.
Yep. I mean, there's a lot of pictures, a lot of people with that guy at these parties too. And it's like, I mean, the stuff, you know, I don't know.
At the time, people were probably mad they weren't invited, and now they go, whoo,
Dodged a bullet there.
Thank God.
Well, it's like the whole thing with the guy from that 70s show, and
Danny Masterson.
They'd all make fun of Topher Grace because he didn't want to go hang out with them after and go party. And there's a lot of stories about, all what they did. He ended up in jail, and Topher Grace looks pretty good. Like, hey, I wasn't there.
Right.
I wasn't doing that stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
we're still laughing because a guy named Christopher calls himself Topher, but at least we're not laughing at you anymore for skipping the Danny Masterson parties.
Yeah, what he was drugging girls, right?
Danny Masterson was, yeah.
Was he drugging them?
Something like that, yes.
Oh, God.
He got 30 years.
30 years.
30 years. I met that guy one time at Lollapalooza, and I just got a general douche vibe off him.
Right.
You know, I can't retcon this guy's life or whatever, but there were people at the time that would not have been shocked that something like this was happening. You know,
it's funny though because rock and roll and all that music thing, part of it was the parties and the sex. I mean, you remember the movie Rockstar. You know what I mean? It's like that's part of the culture.
Yeah,
right.
Or Almost Famous.
Almost Famous. It's like that girl was how old?
Yeah,
right.
like,
you know what I mean? And they made a movie. And now that we're where we are, it's like my kid. His whole world is so different now.
Well, the wild thing, too, is when those women come back publicly to say, I didn't have a problem with that. I was 15 and I banged Ted Nugent.
Yep.
I knew what I was doing, like through the prism of modern whatever.
Yeah.
People go, oh, my God. But these women go, I knew what I was doing.
My mother said...
Nobody ruined my life, so...
All that Louis stuff
double-edged
happened.
sword.
My mother called me up immediately and was like, you tell Louis... it's okay. I was like, what? She goes, you know how many penises I saw that I didn't want to see in my life?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was a different...
Yeah, you guys all had to contend with Louis in one way or another, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, of course. But the thing that, I did was I talked to him about it.
Yeah.
And I knew...
Did he show his penis to your mom?
Eventually. That's what my mom was trying to get.
Yeah, that's what I figured she was wanting.
I mean, look,
he wrapped it in a napkin and she wrote "I love you" on it.
There's levels of it though. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, when you're drugging somebody and taking advantage of somebody, raping somebody, hitting somebody, trafficking people, saying, "Hey, can I do this?"
How many crimes?
Is like it's more of a perversion or a thing, a kink.
Yeah.
And at that time, you were getting taken down for all that stuff. I think he got swept up a little bit in that.
Well, it's like when Me Too was huge, like when it went supernova.
Yeah.
Like Aziz Ansari told the story about like he had a bad date and this woman did a whole hit piece on whatever.
Right.
It was getting weird. There were people getting scooped up.
Yeah,
Louis aside, there were people getting scooped up where you were like, what?
The tide came up and took a lot of...
And that doesn't help whatever they're trying to accomplish. That doesn't help when it's like everybody piles onto somebody.
Yeah, me and Keith were talking. We were bummed out that we didn't get Me Too'd. We were like, we're not even famous enough to get Me Too'd. we stink. I've done some stuff.
Like, why does Bobby have all that baby oil? It's like, oh, so his thighs don't rub together. He's fine.
That is true.
Comfort should not be underrated.
Baby oil, I forgot. Not until recently did I forget it. I forgot all about baby oil.
Johnson's baby oil is still on the shelves.
God, I
feel like coconut oil really usurped baby oil.
Coconut oil is a thing, and I learned that 2 summers ago in my tiny house.
Yeah.
When my wife, when I first learned about premenopause, when we were having sex, the kid had an overnight, and we were having sex, and it wasn't working, and she was like, "I need lube," and I was like, "Well, we're in the woods of New Hampshire. you want me to kill a moose?
Let me go get some sap.
Yeah, we'll go to a pine tree and.
These aren't maples, honey. They're oaks. All right, I can't.
I was like, I don't know where to get lube. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm like, what's wrong? Are you not attracted? She goes, no, I'm premenopause, and it just happens. And I didn't understand that vaginas die.
Let me get a sour ball, baby, and I'll work up some spit, and we'll go from there.
Well,
I
offered to spit on it. She's like, no, you have a dead tooth. I was like, well, that feels good.
Yeah.
And
honey, I'm only worried about cross-contamination, all right?
And then she's like,
I don't want gingivitis down there.
Yeah, I don't want her to smell like old pennies and mustard. I had gone to the store. I was making a stir fry that night, and she was like, you got coconut oil? And I was like, yeah, for the stir fry I'm going to make. And she was like, that's a natural lubricant. And I was like, I don't want to use that.
Sounds like an unnatural lubricant to me, honey.
She went over and got it, and I remember her she put it on. It looked like she was just trying to get an old Chevy engine to work again.
Turtle wax.
It was like 11:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And it was just her, and I was, and she was just putting it on. I was like,
it's like we're having sex in
Next time
Jamaica.
Heat it up a little bit.
But
then, yeah.
But it worked.
Buddy, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Coconut oil is the jam.
It's the best, yeah.
And it smells so good.
Yep.
It smells. I don't know if you've...
And you're so soft afterwards.
It's so good.
The skin feels great.
You got cans of it as a pan spray. You can use that too next time.
Multi-purpose.
That's what I do to it now. I spray her like I'm going to make pancakes.
Like you're seasoning a cast iron pan.
I didn't like that she 3-fingered scooped it out of a mason jar. That was disgusting.
Like an old Crisco commercial or something.
Yeah, she could have done it a little sexier.
Yeah.
I think I heard that.
I heard it a couple times. First when it was in the can, and then this is the first recorded case of ginger vagina we've ever seen. The doctor told her later on.
Yeah, girls don't like sex in the shower either. I didn't know that.
Well, hot tubs, showers.
Don't
I mean,
like it.
there's like a
it's a fake wet.
There can be a height differential. Yeah, it's the wrong amount of wet.
Yeah, you're just plugging mosquitoes in there.
Yeah.
And wet spiders.
Nope.
Very, very strange.
Yeah, sex in water, not a good thing.
No. Sounds great, and we've all seen movies where it seems like it's going to be awesome, but it's the difference between the theoretical and the practical.
Good.
I believe Stephen Hawking talked about how difficult it is to have sex in the shower.
He had a hard time. Had shorts out his wheelchair.
Get the Crisco.
That'd be fun to just dunk him in a pool.
Yeah.
What if he was at P. Diddy's party, just in the background, just lying there taking it? Yeah. I don't like this.
Go. Is that? They got like the jeweler's glass. Is that Stephen Hawking back there?
I actually caught my son.
Oh boy, using the coconut oil?
No.
That's your mother's and mine. Get your own.
Well, he is 11.
Yes, of course. And that's when I started.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah. He started. I came out one morning and my wife was like, "Deal with that," and I'm like, "What?" And I looked over and he was holding his iPhone up with it. Watching YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's genius. First of all, I never thought of that.
Good for him.
And he actually talked to me about it. And I checked his iPhone one day, and one of his friends showed him YouPorn or Pornhub.
Yeah.
And I checked his thing, and it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I was like, Max, listen, you can't do this. When you're 18, if you want to do this stuff, it's fine. But right now, you're too young for this, and it's too... It's too much. They're treating women too brutal, and this is how you shouldn't learn about sex this way. It's bad to treat women like this, because whatever rabbit hole he went down, whatever genre he clicked on first, took him down another one.
It goes 0 to 100 immediately. I remember my son was 10, and he Googled boobs. And I mean, pretty innocent, right? I mean, we used to do it on the calculators, but it was like...
It was just him. It was just Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise slapping each other.
That's right. Dressed up as Captain America. And it goes 0 to 100 real fast. I got to take another break here.
Yeah.
You hang out?
I'll hang out for a little bit.
Okay, because we're almost done, and the Bill Squire Friday Get Down is coming up, and I'll tell you what.
Yes.
You're not privy to this. It's going to blow your friggin' mind.
I do have some coconut oil I have to get to back at the hotel before the show. It's a ritual.